Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to check about new Miniart kit from Russian Imperial Railway series. As you can see, this time it's a covered wagon. It's a 1/35 scale kit and it's a new release which should be already available for purchase. So here we have a commercial sample, and it means you will get exactly the same stuff as what you will see in this video review. And of course we are going to open it and take a closer look at what is actually supplied here and why it should be interesting for 1/35 scale fans. So first of all, box size is typical for Miniart. Here you can see comparison with my hand. We have quite nice box art here, and box itself is it has noticeable weight, I would say. Here we have some safety information and also address of the manufacturer in case you would like to visit them. And here on the opposite side you can see I think 9 marking options, but I mean marking options, it's only the meaning, because as you can see that's more or less the same color, the same I would say scheme, is just different signs and writings on these wagons. So maybe you can imagine or invent something yours if you have some reference guide. Here we have a top opening box. It's also a typical Miniart feature, so here is no surprise at all. All frames are packed into the same plastic bag, and here on the bottom we have assembly manual, which we'll check a bit later. First we are going to start with plastic sprues, and these plastic sprues are packed into sealed plastic bag, so I'm going to cut it off with scissors. I'm going to do it off the camera just to be quicker. Give me a second. In the meantime, let me remind you that you can support us. We have a special support button on our website, so if you would like to send us few dollars, just click it. It's done via PayPal, so of course you will be able to choose how much you would like to send us, and all this money will be used in order to have new video reviews, some new photo and video equipment, or maybe some new kits to be reviewed in our videos. Okay, just give me a sec. Here I am trying to open this huge plastic bag. Actually, it's not the size of the plastic bag, it's size of the plastic sprues and amount of plastic sprues inside. So here we have first thing, it's a small envelope with Miniart logo. As you can see, here we have PE threads, so let's open it. Actually, there are 2 PE threads, and both will be used for fine detailing of this kit. These are unpainted parts, so you will be able to paint them in whatever paint shade or color you would like to. And of course, you will have to use primer first, but that's a typical approach for for PE parts, not for 1/35 scale. Here we continue with decals. So decals are printed in decography. It is also usual Miniart feature, and as you can see we have here a lot of different symbols. I'm looking at these white stripes. This maybe can be replicated with masks, so it will be up to you, but otherwise printing quality seems to be fine, so I don't have any complaints here. And next we go on with first gray plastic sprue. Here it is. I'll place it like this. We zoom out a bit. Now you should be able to see it. Maybe I'll increase ISO so that you can see more a bit. Okay, so here we have side panels, also roof panels, and some parts for the main frame or main chassis. If we flip it over, you can see that these parts are also detailed inside. It's not just a plain plastic, which is really cool because you can open doors, expose what is inside, and it might be handy for some diorama ideas as well. Okay, next we go on with, just let me count them because there are several sprues of this type. So there are 4 sprues of this type with wheel parts, and I'll show one in a second. Okay, so here we have wheel parts, and this wheel is molded as a one-piece part. As you can see here we have leaf spring. If you flip it over, you can see the part from the opposite side look really good, but I think this one-piece design might be a bit tedious in painting, so be careful while doing this, because you might end up with a bit ugly result if you won't be trying to achieve really good work here. Next we continue with 4 identical plastic sprues which are dedicated to various suspension parts. So just give me a second again. I need to place several aside. Okay, so here we have, as I said, suspension parts. So let's zoom in a bit. Now you should be able to see it. So here inside we have some guiding pins, so they will make it easier to combine these tiny pieces together. They're not that big, even though this is a 1/35 scale. And overall design is typical to what we saw in previous Wagon kits from Miniart. So if you saw previous video reviews, you won't be surprised here. Next we continue with 2 plastic sprues dedicated to these wooden panels, as you can see here. And as far as you can see, there is a wooden texture pre-molded, so some modelers will be happy to see it because it might be handy for weathering ideas or maybe for some painting ideas. And of course it looks nice, just like in the previous Minairt Wagon kits, so here we don't have any unpleasant surprises. Next we go on with this stove which was placed inside Wagon. This one was also in Tepushka kit, as you remember, so it's a nice addition to have, which can be placed inside. Okay, next we go on with 4 identical plastic frames. Frankly speaking, I'm not sure where they will go. Here you can see them. So here we have these small bars. I guess maybe they will be supporting the roof panels, but we will have to check the assembly manual in order to have a better understanding of why these parts are here. Next we have 4 identical plastic frames for suspension parts, so I will show you only one. Here it is. These are really thin parts, they might be tricky to separate, so be careful while doing this. And if you flip it over, here you can see that these parts are placed on 3 attachment points. And here I would rather recommend to use the plastic saw, not the plastic cutters, because otherwise you will end up with broken parts and it's not such a pleasant experience with thin elements, let's say. Next we go on with 4 identical plastic frames. Here you can see them. These are side panels. Here you can see them. Again, wooden texture is pre-molded if we flip them over, so it is molded from both sides. And I mean, these panels look good. It's a simple part, but still Miniart tried to bring as much detailing as it is possible. So I think they succeeded with this, but of course it will also depend on your painting skills. Okay, next we go on with 4 identical plastic frames. Here you can see them. I will show you only one. These ones are quite wide because here we have special parts for railroad sections, so it is included here, 1/35 scale, and it means you have something to display your wagon on, so it won't be just wagon standing on earth or on some stand. You have rails included, and that's really cool because not that many manufacturers do this. Some of them just supply you the wagon and that's pretty much all. Next we continue with 2 identical frames for front, and I guess these are side panels, not the front and rear. We will have to check the assembly manual, but still these are walls for the wagon. And you saw cutouts, they won't be filled with clear plastic because there were no glasses on the real prototype. Next we continue with 2 identical plastic frames, so these ones are dedicated to the main frame bars, and molding quality seems to be nice. But the main frame or main chassis here, it will be an interesting thing to assemble because you will be combining a lot of separate bars together, so be ready for this. And of course check the alignment while you'll be doing it, but we will talk about it in a second when we will be checking the assembly manual. Here we have 2 identical plastic frames, so I will show you only one. Just give me a second. Let's zoom out a bit. Now you should be able to see it. So here again we have some roof panels, we have some main bars for the chassis. Here we have more of them, so it will be quite a complex assembly here, but I think it will be easy to do. And next, just give me a second. We have the last plastic sprue. You saw this type in the beginning, and it is quite logical because Wagon is symmetrical, so that's why we have the same set of parts on the last plastic frame. Next, we continue with this assembly manual. Let's zoom out a bit. It's a traditional Miniart brochure which is printed in color. We have short list of the features on the first page. Next, we continue with marking guide for several versions included here. Then we have parts map and posters which can be cut out and placed on the wagon. Here we have parts map. Assembly process, as I said, starts with main chassis. As you can see, you will have to install these suspension parts or these holders which will be actually fixing the wheel axles in place. Next, we continue with more bars for the main chassis. Install floor panels which are quite large. Then we have front and rear. As you can see here, you have to apply these thin bars which we saw in the beginning. Next, we have two options, so you can open window or close it, and there will be these P handles which will be used as a locks. Next, we continue with installation of all this stuff on the floor, and basically we repeat the same thing again, and we install it from the opposite side. Here we continue with external detailing. There will be some parts, metal parts, PE parts installed in corners. Here we have roof which is being assembled with these supports. As you remember, I mentioned them before, and you have to place these roof panels on the top. Then we have movable door which is not glued in the place, and that's really cool. I guess it will be movable even on the finished model. Next, we have some connecting elements which are molded out of thin parts. As you remember, here we have railroad section being assembled out of separate parts, and then you just place wagon on it. So there are 34 steps to do. Next, we have 3 more marking options from the package, and here of course we have 3 more, so 9 in total. As I said, this kit should be already available for purchase in all good model shops. For example, Modenimex should have it for sure. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this kit here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!